Hey man, say man, what's the play man? Today on the 806er, we're sitting down with John Roger Ferguson, better known as JR Ferguson. Many people know him as J Ferg, a roofing brand that's became one of the most recognized names in West Texas. But with that success also came public pressure, public criticism, bankruptcy, and a major rebuild. This interview is not about attacking anyone, but it's also about not avoiding the hard topics. Today is about hearing straight from JR himself. We want to talk about who he is, what he built, and what went wrong, and what he lost, what he learned, and what is different now as he moves forward with eBroof. How are you doing today, JR?
Hey, I'm good, Travis. Thank you.
You
Thanks for having
doing
me
good?
today. Yeah, thank you.
I'm a little razzle dazzle. It feels good to sit down with a person that I told you that was the person behind the brand I seen in every lawn all over West Texas when I first moved here. So, appreciate you coming down to sit down with us. So, for people who only know the public version of you, who is JR Ferguson really?
Who am I?
Who are you?
I'll tell you this much. Used to, I really was that. I tried to be something. I felt like I wasn't enough, and it was it's actually basically why I ran so hard with J Ferg, because I was so afraid of being nothing. And when I had the success, or whatever people call success, you know. But my vision initially of what I thought success was, I still had a hole in my chest, and it wasn't the answer. I had people that, a lot of people knew who I was, and they were very. I got a lot of favors, and I had the status, and I had everything that I was afraid of never having, and it really was almost worth nothing. Years before that, was so terrified of going broke that I had almost committed suicide, and honestly, it was way harder than dealing with the actual bankruptcy. Was the idea of bankruptcy way harder? And when it actually happened, I had kind of already dealt with it psychologically, the fear of it. And then when it actually was concluded and everything, was done, I was kind of just standing there with, it was me and God. And that was the answer. It was to be empty the whole time, for me at least. And I no longer, everything I was feared had happened. Everything. My worst nightmares, every one of them. And I just really decided that, well, it kind of led to this because my biological father passed away when he was 25. They thought I had a brain tumor when I was 22, which is how he died. I thought I was going to die. I was like on all these church groups, prayer lists and stuff. And I told my wife goodbye at the time. I couldn't walk. My whole right side shut down at times. And I got over that. And then, I used to hear growing up, my mother, she's a great lady. She really is. I was a heathen, and that's a fact. But she would tell me, and now I can understand why, but she would say, you'll be dead or in prison by the time you're 25. And my dad had died by 25, and I was 22 or 3 whenever all that was happening. And then I got past that. And then in 28, almost a suicide event, and the bankruptcy, and it just kind of, I got stripped of everything. And so, that I never had to begin with, It's the idea of what you think you're not. You're always trying to fill that void. And so ultimately, all that I am, who am I? I don't know if I can answer that, but I'm a guy that I see life as something we did nothing for. It's an absolute gift. Nobody gets out alive, and it's an experience. And it comes down to basically as if what if it was all a dream, and it didn't have to be the way. Not so serious, where we take ourselves so serious, and where we're trying to find value in the eyes of other people or success. It's just more of another day, another life, gratitude. I would say, no matter what. That's probably the best way I could describe it. Do the best I can. Be honest. To be honest is brutally honest, ruthlessly honest. People typically don't like that too much, but it's the way for me, for whatever reason, it feels like a better life, my better life. And we can have difference of opinions and things. I just, I would say that's me. I try to be open-minded, care, be honest, and do the best I can. And hopefully you can do it in service of something bigger than you with a benefit to more than you. And that to me is what I'm after.
So take us back to the beginning. Who were you before the success, and what were you chasing when you first started J Ferg?
Before the success, well, I mean, I was a boy. I was 19 when I started J Ferg. And I had my biological father had passed away. I had a wonderful stepdad, by the way, really did. I had a livestock trailer that my biological father had left behind. And I had a truck on the passenger side that had a giant dent in it. And so I was scared, man. I was a scared boy. And but I was more scared of failure than at large at that time, like, I guess of not mattering in my own world, in my own view, that I ran like hell toward as far away from it as I could. And I thought that was solving my problems, and it never really did it. And in a lot of ways, it actually compounded it into one big nuclear bomb.
So what did success mean to you then, and when did you kind of realize J Ferg was becoming bigger than just a local roofing company? And does success mean the same thing to you now?
Nothing means the same to me anymore. I just don't see it the same. I don't even know how to describe it other than I know that you cannot become more than you already are. Now you can work on your skill sets. You can work on your disciplines. You can do what you know you should do and not do what you know you shouldn't do. But be honest. But I mean, all the rest of that is, as far as I'm concerned, for me, I'm just not interested in entertaining it, to be honest. And used to, that was how I thought that was the answer to how I became more.
So people saw the trucks, the signs, the growth, and the brand, but behind the scenes, what pressure or struggles were people not seeing?
Oh boy. Well, you know the saying, less lonely at the top, that's real.
That's real?
Yeah. People tell you what you want to hear. They almost feed it to you as if you are something special. You're not. No one is. We're all equal. That's the answer. We get to be here, but I learned that we're humans, and humans, we're all flawed, and we'll do and say a lot of things to get what we want. And I ran by the honor system, and that's why now. That's actually what led me into starting System X, is because I didn't have process control, because I had an honor system. I like do unto others as you would have them do unto you, and I really trusted everybody. But when the cat's away, the mice will play, and that's just typical. It's not everyone, but it's pretty typical. And then if they can also. Everything's great as long as they feel like that you hold someone accountable or change the standard, and they don't. A lot of times people don't appreciate that, and even if it's for the greater good of all, they don't want the change, and so you have to, I was naive. I was very naive to everything. I was just a boy trying to do the best I could and not be nothing. And I was so afraid of it that I built a, J Ferg.
So what's something that success gave you, but what did success fail to give you as well? Because I've never been as big as you are.
So success gave me understanding that that's not the answer. Um, Failure is really, I'll tell you, the stripping of all. I'll tell you that the start from the trailer to the success to losing it all to back to ground zero, standing there with nothing but myself and, God, was the best thing that ever happened to me. Not because I didn't value those people or the situation or appreciate or wasn't grateful or whatever. Maybe I wasn't, in the ways that I should have been. But I just realized that I couldn't be happy by trying to be enough. I could never measure up in my mind. And I was so afraid of, it was more of nothing you add to your life, no attribute, no skill, no success will make you more. We have to realize that we didn't do anything to be born. We will die. Nobody gets out alive, and we didn't do anything to get here. And that, maybe like it can be fun. Like you can turn hard times into like fun times. They don't have to be bad times. Just because you initially wouldn't have chose it doesn't mean that you can't accept it like you chose it. Because if you really believe that Lord, God's in control and you want the Lord's will, and like we say, well, I kind of think that goes with it, and that's one of the things it taught me, because it was the only. I had one path. I could either go insane, which is the only thing I had. So there's a term. They say lose your mind.
Yeah.
I'll tell you, I think I lost my mind.
How so?
Well, I no longer identify with, like I would say, like the ways of the world. I only want truth and facts. It's no longer about, it's about love, grace, gratitude. And it's not about becoming more than I am or trying to find myself through the eyes of other people. I now understand that I cannot become more by more people thinking I am more. I totally get that now. And it's the greatest gift, because my life, just think about this. I use this phrase a lot, and I say, I ask my people, I say, would you rather, so people can, everybody's burdened, everybody has challenges. We all have hard times, but the only difference is how you let it affect you inside of you. And so what I tell people is that, like, ask yourself this. Like, would you rather be, and let's get real, in America at least, most of our greatest fears are being homeless and hated. And what we think, because that's such a great fear, we think that we can solve that problem by becoming, like rich and famous. And that is we think that's the medicine to our fear. But let me tell you something. Let me ask you this. Would you rather truly to yourself, to your soul, and to God and everyone else? Because what are you looking for? What are we actually looking for? And what I'll tell you is this. Would you rather be homeless and hated, but be happy and one with life? Or rich and loved and be miserable? And I finally realized I just really want to be happy. And every day it's not always happening, but I don't have to achieve something. I want to live. I want to live to the fullest. I want to take full advantage of every second. And I know sometimes that's, it's like a loud car riding wheelies down the road. But, I'm just having fun. I'm just trying not to take all this too serious and realize that, maybe I should already have been dead. And from what I thought, I didn't even think, I've surpassed my life expectancy. I'm glad to be alive. I'm thankful. I'm just glad that everything has happened the way it has. I hope there's a few things in my life that are real big deals to me that I hope change. But, we'll see what happens. And, I'll tell you one thing that I think is very important to me that I've learned from all of this is that, I've kind of, you do get a different seat when you're sitting, when you're kind of successful, right? You have access to more things, more information. You kind of get to go deeper behind the curtain. You know, that was a really good thing because I got to kind of see how a lot of things actually work, not how we're told they work. But what I'll say is that I think people should look into the number of robots projected and the intelligence of AI projected by, say, this time next year, and then maybe another year, and maybe 5 years and 10 years, and then just really think about what that might mean. And so, yes, are the resources a big deal? The water and all that stuff, yes. But AI is not necessarily good or bad. All I'm saying is I think that there's some information out there that they can find that isn't being, it's not loud. They give you the, you know, the thing is people need to understand that the world's changing fast, and I would encourage you to do some research and look up Elon Musk, YouTube, AI, robots, and look into these interviews and see what it's saying, because he's the builder. I love Previs to death. He's a reporter. He's not building this stuff. He can't tell you for sure what's going to happen. He doesn't know. And I'm not Elon either. I can't tell you either. But I can tell you what I'm doing every single day because I do see it happening and I follow this closely. And I would love it if Lubbock, for the first time, was not that little island away from, like, the last one to catch on to everything. And so, because the greatest risk is this, it's not AI, it's really not even robots. It's that you get blindsided by it. And so you need to prepare and see that we're entering a new age that we never even considered to be possible in our lifetime.
All right, so looking back a little bit, because you're speaking about looking forward. When the bankruptcy became public with you, what do you feel like people misunderstood about you in that season of your life?
Well, so there was a big lead up to that, you know. But people have been saying I'm going to go bankrupt since I started, and so
do you feel like success came too fast?
Too fast? I don't know. I mean, I don't know. Like, it's kind of like I don't know if there's any too much of this or too much of that. You know, it's all in. I learned a lot of lessons real fast, to say it that way. And so with that, it was a lot of pressures, a lot of responsibility, and I learned a lot. I didn't know what I was doing, but I learned. And so the way I see it is, it was like trying to compress, 60 years into 20. And so now I can go again from the mistakes I made and learn and hopefully do more good and live a better, happier life. I mean, truly, at the end of the day.
So you just had a Facebook situation, which we're not going to go into the specifics, right? But what's the biggest misconception that people have about you, and what do you wish people What do you wish people understood about you?
I don't think it's that. I think people should maybe just. It's not that I have a certain way I want you to see me, or or what I think you've got wrong, because you may be right, but I don't know that, and I don't think I can answer that. Your perception and your reality is yours and yours alone. And so, that's yours. But what I will say is that, I would appreciate a chance from some people that haven't met me, that have, it's kind of like, in a lot of ways, it's kind of like viral content. Like, why is it viral? Nobody really knows. But it went viral, and everybody heard about it. And everybody's got an opinion about it, but I would encourage people to maybe, like, I work at E-Roof. You can come meet me. I'm right here. We're going to start hosting public events, and I will talk to you out front. You can have a, hot dog and a drink on us, And but I'm not here to prove anything. I just think that for all of us, because I know I've been in that situation where I've met people, even Previs. I tell you what, I didn't think Previs was Previs when I was going to talk to the 806er. And so, and I love Previs to death. He's a good guy.
Appreciate it.
And so I'll just tell you that I've done that a lot in my life. And I'll tell you that it wasn't in my best interest to do that to someone else. Because I wasn't really doing it to them. All that happened in my own head. And so, and carrying that isn't really, that wasn't doing me any benefit. And so, and I think that we should treat others how we want to be treated. I think there's some kindergarten language out there that's pretty simple that we could all apply to our lives every day. And so that's it. You know, I don't have any requests. I have maybe something for them to consider, that maybe there's more to it.
So, what did losing everything teach you that success never could? Because you've gone through something that some of us have never.
You can never be more than you are.
Expound on that.
I mean, let's take, for example, your Previs, right?
Yep.
Okay, so you got, how much money you got in your bank? It don't matter. You're still Previs. If I cut your right arm off and you're still aware and conscious of this situation, are you still Previs? Mm-hmm. What if I cut your other arm off? You got no arms. You still Previs?
I'm no arm Previs.
What if I cut your legs off too? And I put you in a bag and throw all that in the dumpster, but you're still sitting here just like you are, watching it, aware and conscious of what's happening. Are you still Previs?
Yeah.
So that's what I mean. Can never be more than that.
All right, so let's talk about the rebuild and the rebrand. What is E-Roof and what's different this time?
Well, I'll tell you what's different is the why. You know, originally J Ferg emerged from fear. I mean, it did. Fear of failure, fear of inadequacy, you know, fear of not being good enough, fear of what people thought. And I fought like hell to, it was like, you know, treated it like medicine against that. It didn't work. I would say that E-Roof actually stands for Evolved Roofing Technology.
Okay.
And the reason is because I know towards the end of J Ferg, I learned that that we needed to be able to control the process if we were going to control the outcome. And because we were the leader, I mean, truly, we had it. I would imagine that our process was as good as anyone else's, and it was shit. It was garbage. And at the end of the day, it's kind of like running a really high-powered, fast train down a little bitty scrawny train track, and it flies off the track. Mm-hmm. And so this time, it's not about being afraid. It's not about trying to be more. It's about trying to come from a place of understanding that of not only myself, but what others may could benefit from. And so Evolved Roofing Technology is in fact a working live service model laboratory of real world conditions that technology is built against for System X. E-Roof gets all the benefits. It gets to, you know, as far as in terms of roofing industry, the roofing industry is to become, E-Roof's target is to be the, you know, the example of how efficient a roofing company can become.
So are you trying to build another major regional brand, or are you just trying to build something that's more controlled and sustainable?
No, the brand doesn't matter to me. It does. The only reason a brand would matter to me is because local credibility. Like, you have to be able to get business to do business, and so you know, the brand does matter, but it's really more about the mission. Like, at the end of the day, what we are trying to do is provide the tools to humans so that when robots arrive, that they have the same tools the robots do, and that they can stay in the game. And E-Roof is the proving ground of that. System X builds the digital infrastructure to allow that to happen. And so, I mean, that's why.
So what's your long-term vision? What's your long-term vision for E-Roof? I mean, of course, to be successful, make some money. Well,
it's not really about that. You have to make money to keep it going, though.
Yeah.
Or it dies. If you don't water the tree, it dies. If you take, you know, if you harvest it too aggressively, it dies. And so you can't look at it like that. You want it. For me, I want something that that goes beyond ourselves. in service of something greater than ourselves. And so it's roofing. To me, this is not about recreating J Ferg. None at all. J Ferg was like trying to remodel. J Ferg was like trying to turn a giant, massive ship in the middle of the ocean versus a little speedboat. It wasn't exactly easy to remodel because there was a lot of moving parts.
Yeah.
And so but I can tell you this, that what J Ferg was on its best day, it's nothing to what E-Roof delivers to the actual end result product experience in the homeowner. It's action, not talk, and it's for a purpose. It's a mission oriented, and we're a tribe. Like we call ourselves a tribe. We want the best for each other, and we want to deliver the best possible service and outcome. And that's really what it's about. Is that, it's like before there was cellular phones, there was landlines. Our mission is that of which is to gain competitive advantage, provide that competitive advantage to others across the service industry. But most importantly, it is about connecting humans and making sure that that I don't care about the brand. I'm telling, or the money. We have to have it. Roofs. I mean, everybody has a roof, but it's not like it's the most glamorous work, right? It's not about that. It's about providing fundamental, real world enhancements every day. That's it. That everybody could benefit from. That's it. Do the best you can and provide the best service and product you can. Evolve roofing technology that's it. That's really it.
So if your daughters watch this interview years from now, they're probably watching this as it goes up. What would you want them to understand about who you are and what you went through and what you're trying to become? Because we're all still growing, right?
Well, yeah, for sure. Say that again. I want to answer this one for sure, right?
So when your daughters watch this interview
Wow.
now and years from now, what would you want them to understand about who you are?
Oh, there's nothing. I just want to know. I just love them.
Since they will be watching, talk to them. Talk to them.
Man, I don't know. I mean,
because off camera, you gave me it was heartfelt. Me being a new dad, I felt that message.
I don't know if it would be right though. I don't know if they would ever really appreciate it if I did it like that. And so I don't want to talk to them directly. They know that I would love to talk to you, but we don't need to do that. I don't want to do that. If you want that, you can let me know. I'm sure we could call Previs and arrange that. But you can let me know. But I can just say that if there's anything I would want them to know, it's that, look, I make no excuse for anything. What happened, how it happened, why it happened. Even what your opinion or perspective may be, I make no excuse. One of the things that I do whenever I'm showing people these things is I'll say, look, this is the one thing that I would like for you to carry forward, whether we build the greatest relationship ever and we become, like absolute best friends. That would be amazing. But I just want, this isn't just for y'all though, this is everyone, but I want everyone to just kind of look at this card. And I know it's E-Roof, but it's not about E-Roof. I just want you to look at this and just kind of like describe it. What do you see? What do you see, Previs?
I see a black card with white writing at the top, a blue roof, and white writing at the bottom.
What does it say? And give me a little bit of like where it's positioned. Size. What are the words on it?
E-Roof is the biggest thing at the top. I can't really read the bottom from here. eroofs.com.
Okay. So like one thing I want to explain is that a lot of times the families get separated, countries go to war, people get in fights, business relationships get destroyed, all of that because you're wrong. You're absolutely wrong. Because from the side I'm looking at, it's that. And so only thing I want you to consider is that there's generally more to everything than what we have had access to or what we understand, or even if everyone around us. I mean, a lot of times we're all standing from the same point of view. And if you're standing right there looking right here, I can see the post office. And so if we're all standing right here, that's what it looks like. You see the post office, and it's undeniable. And I'm not saying anything you say is wrong. I'm not saying that, because I do think there's a point of view for that, absolutely. And right now I'm seeing the post office. But if I look this way, I don't see it anymore. And if you look at it from all different directions, you can get a more holistic look, which provides deeper understanding, which provides you a little more clarity to better navigate life, and less painfully as well. And so I just want, obviously, I just want the best for them. That's it.
Okay, so what would you say to a young entrepreneur who's growing fast, and thinks they have it all figured out?
Ha! Ha! You don't? You don't have it figured out. That's all there is to it. You might can grow fast. That might be true. But you do not have it all figured out. And I would tell you that the answer to that is quit trying to be right and try to be less wrong.
So what about to somebody who's failed publicly and embarrassed to start over?
What are you afraid of? I would be more afraid of having to answer to God and say, what did you do with this life? You were so concerned about what everybody thought that you couldn't stand back up. I gave you this life, and you were too afraid of public opinion that you didn't even experience it. And you walked in misery and shame and guilt. And this life is not our own. And that's what I'll tell you. The more you can gamify life, like think of yourself in a game of Mario. And like so you can think if you're in Mario, like in this little mushroom's coming at you, and you're like, oh, you could get scared and freak out, right? And try to run the other way. Well, it ain't letting you out. Or you could run towards it and be scared and nervous and, kill you or whatever. Maybe you finally relax and just become aware of the game, and you're the controller. And now all of a sudden you just realize that you can play the game much more better if you'll relax and just kind of, not take it so personal. And so I would just say, try to be less wrong. Be aware of what's happening. Be aware of how you see the world and how you see yourself in it. And if you can understand that, you can really make a lot of moves for yourself and live a better life, and realize that you're not stuck. You're stuck in your thought patterns. That's really all you're stuck in. And so that would be. But if you're wanting to go be successful and you're trying to be uber successful, first off, ask yourself why you're doing it. What motivates you? Look, we don't do anything without being motivated. Nothing. Like I don't just go pee because I'm not motivated to, get it out. So everything, we have a motivation. So ask yourself why you're doing it, because I'll tell you, if it's to live your better and best life, it's a great tool that will, a great challenge, but you have to think of it like an obstacle course and not a credential. You have to see it as you get to, not that you have to. No matter what, you need to, I would say, love others, and just quit trying to. You are not what you think other people think you are. And if you can just do it in service of something greater than yourself, to the benefit of more than yourself, I think as long as you can do that, I think you'll probably be very successful.
All right, so last question. When this chapter of your life is written, do you want it to be remembered as a comeback story, a redemption story, or just a story of a man who refused to quit?
I don't care if there is a story. It'll be what it is. And so I hope that it's helpful. Hope it's inspirational. I hope that one less person quits. I hope that one more person goes for something. I hope that one more person can be exiled and not give up. Yeah, that'd be good.
So, JR, we appreciate you sitting down with us and having this conversation. Whether people agree, disagree, support you, or still have questions, this interview gives the community a chance to hear directly from you, not just about the business, but the man behind the business, the mistakes and the lesson, and the rebuild. This has been the 806er, giving people in the community a chance to tell their story on their own words. We appreciate you coming down to do this one-on-one interview. Actually, not coming down. We're actually in your office, the headquarters, right outside your office. But stay tuned. We have way more locked in. I want to appreciate you for being one of our sponsors of the 806er. If people haven't figured that out, they see your logo on every news story. And they brought that to my attention that they have kind of figured that out. But more conversations like this are coming. So we just want to say thank you.
Well, thank you, Bruce.
So is there anything that you want to say that I didn't ask you that you want to say?
No, I just want to say, look, I know there's controversy. I've always kind of been that guy, and I just kind of have fun, you know. And so you'll know if I'm real serious. Most of the time I'm not real serious. I'm just working real hard. You know, I'd love to, honestly, I'm glad to be a part of West Texas. It's part of who I am. You know, I went to school at Wellman, graduated with 23 people, largest graduating class in school history. I'm a small town guy. And I like people. And so, you know, and I understand not everybody has to like me, and that's okay too. But anyways, I hope to maybe meet some of you.
Thank you. Great interview.